Hi everyone, welcome to Vicky's Neat Prep. I'm Vicky. In this video, we are going to discuss about class 12 biology according to NCERT textbook. In our present video, we are going to discuss about the Unit 8 Biology in Human Welfare of class 12. In this, we have three chapters. They are Human Health and Disease, Strategies for Enhancement in Food Production, Microbes in Human Welfare. Our present topic is Strategies for Enhancement in Food Production. Topics in the chapter are animal husbandry, plant breeding, single cell proteins, and tissue culture. In this, before going to those topics, the introduction of our present chapter is as follows. With increasing population of the world, enhancement of food production is a major necessity. Biological principles are applied to animal husbandry and plant breeding to increase food production. Several new techniques like embryo transfer technology and tissue culture techniques are going to play a pivotal role in further enhancing food production. Animal husbandry. Our first topic, animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the agricultural practice of breeding and raising livestock. As such, it is a vital skill for farmers and is as much science as it is an art. Animal husbandry deals with the care and breeding of livestock with buffaloes, cows, pigs, horses, cattle, sheep, camels, goats, etc. that are useful to humans and extended. It includes poultry farming and fisheries. Fisheries include rearing, catching, and selling, etc. of fish, mollusks known as shellfish, and crustaceans like prawns and crabs, etc. Since the time immemorial, animals like bees, silkworm, prawns, crabs, fishes, birds, pigs, cattle, sheep, and camels have been used by humans for products like milk, eggs, meat, wool, silk, honey, etc. It is estimated that more than 70% of the world livestock population is in India and China. However, it is surprising to note that the contribution to the world farm produce is only 25%. That is, the productivity per unit is very low. Hence, 25 per- in addition, to conventional practices of animal breeding and care, newer technologies also have to be applied to achieve improvement in quality and productivity. Management of farms and farm animals. A professional approach a professional approach to what have been traditional practice of farm management gives the much needed boost to our food production. Let us discuss some of the management procedures employed in various animal farm systems like dairy farm management and poultry farm management. Dairy farm management. Dairying is the management of animals for milk and its products for human consumption. In dairy farm management, we deal with processes and systems that increase yield and improve quality of milk. Milk yield is primarily dependent on the quality of breeds in the farm. Selection of good breeds having high yielding potential under the climatic conditions of the area combined with resistance to disease is very important. For the yield potential to be realized, the cattle have to be well looked after. They have to be housed well, should have adequate water, and be maintained disease free. The feeding of cattle should be carried out in a scientific manner with special emphasis on the quality and quantity of fodder. Besides stringent cleanliness and hygiene, both of the cattle and the handlers are of paramount importance while milking, storage, and transport of milk and its products. Nowadays, of course, much of these processes have become mechanized, which reduces chances of direct contact of the produce with the handler. Ensuring these stringent measures would of course require regular inspections with proper record keeping. It would also help to identify and rectify the problems as early as possible. Regular visits by a veterinary doctor would be mandatory. Poultry farm management. Poultry is the class of domesticated fowl means birds use it for food and for their eggs. They typically include chicken and ducks and sometimes turkey and geese. The word poultry is often used to refer to the meat of only these birds, but in a more general sense, it may refer to the meat of other birds too. As in dairy farming, selection of disease free and suitable breeds, proper and safe farm conditions, proper feed and water, and hygiene and health care are important components of poultry farm management. You may have seen in TV news or read newspaper reports about the bird flu virus, which created a scare in the country and drastically affected the egg and chicken consumption. This bird flu virus is caused by a virus called H5N1. Now, the animal breeding. Going to the animal breeding. Breeding of animals is an important aspect of animal husbandry. Animal breeding aims at increasing produce. A group of animals related by descent and similar in most characters like general appearance, features, size, configuration, etc. are said to belong to a breed. Find out the names of some common breeds of cattle and poultry in the farms of our area. When breeding is between animals of the same breed, it is called inbreeding. While crosses between different breeds are called outbreeding. Inbreeding. Inbreeding. Inbreeding refers to the mating of more closely related individuals within the same breed for 4 to 6 generations. The breeding strategy is as follows. Superior males and superior females of the same breed are identified and mated in pairs. The progeny obtained from such matings are evaluated, and superior males and females among them are identified for further matings. A superior female in the case of the cattle is the cow or buffalo that produces more milk per lactation. On the other hand, a superior male is the bull which gives rise to the superior progeny as compared to those of other males. A similar strategy is used for developing pure lines in cattle as was used in case of peas. Inbreeding increases homozygosity. Thus, inbreeding is necessary if we want to evolve a pure line in any animal. Inbreeding exposes harmful recessive genes that are eliminated by selection. It also helps in accumulation of superior genes and elimination of less desirable genes. Therefore, this approach, where there is a selection at each step, increases the productivity of inbreed population. However, continued inbreeding, especially close inbreeding, usually reduces fertility and even productivity. This is called inbreeding depression. Whenever this becomes a problem, selected animals of the breeding population should be mated with unrelated superior animals of the same breed. This usually helps restore fertility and yield. Outbreeding. Outbreeding is the breeding of the unrelated animals which may be between individuals of the same breed but having no common ancestors for 4 to 6 generations. About crossing or between different breeds, crossbreeding or different species. Interspecific hybridization. Outcrossing. This is the practice of mating of animals within the same breed but having no common ancestors of either side of their pedigree for up to 4 to 6 generations. The offsprings the offspring of such a mating is known as an outcross. It is the best breeding method for animals that are below average in productivity in milk production, growth rate in beef, cattle, etc. A single outcross often helps to overcome inbreeding depression. Crossbreeding. In this method, superior males of one breed are mated with superior females of another breed. Crossbreeding allows the desirable qualities of two different breeds to be, to be combined. The progeny hybrid animals may themselves be used for commercial production. Alternatively, they may be subjected to some form of inbreeding and selection to develop new suitable breeds that may be superior to the existing breeds. Many new animal breeds have been developed by this approach. Histadale is a new breed of sheep developed in Punjab by crossing Bikaner ewes and Merino rams. Interspecific hybridization. This method In this method, male and female animals of two different related species are mated in some cases. In some cases, the progeny may combine desirable features of both the parents and may be considerable economic value. Example, the mule. You can see the mule over here, which is a crossbreed of horse and donkey. And there is uh, another animal called hinny, which is also the uh, crossbreed of horse and donkey. Controlled breeding experiments that are carried out using artificial insemination. The semen is collected from the male that is chosen as a parent and injected into the reproductive tract of the selected female by the breeder. The semen may be used immediately or can be frozen and used at a later date. It can also be transported in a frozen form to where the female is housed. In this way, desirable matings are carried. Artificial insemination helps us to overcome several problems of normal matings. Often, the success rate of crossing mature male and female animals is fairly low even though artificial insemination is carried out. To improve chances of successful production of hybrids, other means are also used. Multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology MOET is one such program for head improvement. In this method, a cow is administered with hormones with FSH like activity to induce the follicular maturation and superovulation. Instead of one egg, which they normally yield per cycle, they produce 6 to 8 eggs. The animal is either mated with an allied bull or artificially inseminated. The fertilized eggs at 8 to 32 cell stages are recovered non-surgically and transferred to a surrogate mothers. The genetic mother is available for another round of superovulation. This technology has been demonstrated for cattle, sheep, rabbits, buffaloes, mares, etc. High milk yielding breeds of females and high quality lean meat with less lipid meat yielding bulls have been bred successfully to increase head size in a short time. Beekeeping. Beekeeping or apiculture is the maintenance of hives of honeybees for the production of honey. It has been an age old cottage industry. Honey is a food of high nutritive value and also finds use in the indigenous systems of medicine. Honeybee also produces beeswax, which finds many uses in industry, such as in the preparation of cosmetics and polishes of various kinds. Honeybees also The increased demand of honey was led to large scale beekeeping practices. It has become an established income generating industry, whether practiced on small or on a large scale. Beekeeping can be practiced in any area where there are sufficient bee pastures of some wild shrubs, fruit orchards, and cultivated crops. There are several species of honeybees which can be rare. Of those, the most common species is Apis indica. Beehives can be kept in one's courtyard, on the veranda of the house, or even on the roof. Beekeeping is not labor intensive. Beekeeping, though relatively easy, does require some specialized knowledge, and there are several organizations that teach beekeeping. The following points are important for successful beekeeping. Knowledge of the knowledge of the nature and habits of bees, selection of suitable location for keeping the beehives, catching and hiving of swans. Swans means group of bees, management of beehives during different seasons, and handling and collection of honey and bee wax. Bees are the pollinators of many of our crop species such as sunflower, brassica, apple, pea. Keeping beehives in crop fields during flowering period increases pollination efficiency and improves the yield, beneficial for beneficial both from the point of view of crop yield and honey yield. Fisheries. Fishery is an industry devoted to the catching, processing, or selling of fish, shellfish, or other aquatic animals. A large number of population is dependent on fish, fish products, and other aquatic animals such as prawn, crab, lobster, edible oyster, etc. for food. Some of the freshwater fishes which are very common include katla, rohu, and common carp. Some of the marine fishes that are eat, eaten include hisla, sardines, mackerel, and pomfrets. Fisheries has an important place in Indian economy. It provides income and employment to millions of fishermen and farmers, particularly in the coastal states. For many, it is the only source of their livelihood. In order to meet the increasing demands of fisheries, different techniques have been employed to increase production. For example, through aquaculture and pisciculture, we have been able to increase the production of aquatic plants and animals, both freshwater and marine. Find out the difference between pisciculture and aquaculture. It has led to the development and flourishing of the fishery industry, and it has brought a lot of income to the farmers in particular and the country in general. We now talk about blue revolution as being implemented along the same lines as green revolution. Green revolution. Plant breeding. Traditional farming can only yield a limited biomass as food for humans and animals. Better management practices and increase in acreage can increase yield, but only to a limited extent. Plant breeding as a technology has helped increase yields to a very large extent. Who in India has not had of green revolution, which was responsible for our country to not merely meet the national requirements in food production. Green revolution was dependent to a large extent on plant breeding techniques for development of high yielding and disease resistant varieties in wheat, rice, maize, etc. What is plant breeding? Plant breeding is the purposeful manipulation of plant species in order to create desired plant types that are better suited for cultivation, give better yields, and are disease resistant. Conventional plant breeding has been practiced for thousands of years since the beginning of human civilization. Recorded evidence of plant breeding dates back to 9,000 to 11,000 years ago. Many present day Many present day crops are the result of domestication of ancient times. Today, all our major food crops are derived from the domesticated varieties. Classical plant breeding involves crossing or hybridization of pure lines, followed by artificial selection to produce the plants with desirable traits of higher yield, nutrition, and resistance to diseases. The advancements in genetics, molecular biology, and tissue culture, plant breeding is now increasingly being carried out by using molecular genetic tools. If we were to list the traits or characters that our breeders have tried to incorporate into crop plants, the first we would list would be increased crop yield and improved quality. Increased tolerance to environment stresses, salinity, extreme temperatures, drought, resistant to pathogens, viruses, fungi, bacteria, and increased tolerance to insect pests would be on our list too. Plant breeding programs are carried out in a systematic way worldwide in government institutions and commercial companies. The main step in breeding a new genetic variety of a crop are collection of variability. Genetic variability is the root of any breeding program in any crops. Pre-existing genetic variability is available from wild relatives of the crop. Collection and preservation of all the different wild varieties, species, and relatives of the cultivated species, followed by their evaluation for their characteristics, is a prerequisite for effective exploitation of the natural genes available in the Population. The entire collection of plants or seeds having all the diverse alleles for all genes in a given crop is called germplasm collection. Evaluation and selection of parents. The germplasm is evaluated so as to identify plants with desirable combination of characters. The selected plants are multiplied and used in the process of hybridization. Pure lines are created whenever desirable and possible. Cross hybridization among the selected parents. The desired characters have very often to be combined from two different plants or parents. For example, high protein quality of one parent may need to be combined with disease resistant from another parent. This is possible by cross hybriding the two parents to produce hybrids that genetically combine the desired characters in one plant. This is a very time consuming and tedious process since the pollen grains from the desirable plant chosen as male parent have to be collected and placed on the stigma of the flowers. Selected as female also, it is not necessary that the hybrids do combine the desirable characters. Usually, only one in few hundred to a thousand crosses shows the desirable combination. Selection and testing of superior recombinants. The step consists of selecting among the progeny of the hybrids those plants that have the desired characters combination. The selection process is crucial to the success of the breeding objective and requires careful scientific evaluation of the progeny. This step yields plants that are superior to both the parents. Very often, more than two superior progeny plants may become available. These are self-pollinated for several generations till they reach a state of uniformity, homozygosity, so that the characters will not segregate in the progeny. Testing, release, and commercialization of new cultivars. The selected lines are evaluated for their yield and other agronomic traits of quality, disease resistance, etc. Disease resistance, etc. This evaluation is done by growing these in research fields and recording their performance under ideal fertilizer application, irrigation, and other crop management practices. The evaluation is research field is followed by testing the materials in farmer field for at least 3 growing seasons at several locations in the country, representing all the agroclimatic zones where the crop is usually grown. The material is evaluated in comparisons to the best available local crop cultivar. A check for the reference cultivar. India is mainly an agricultural country. Agriculture accounts for approximately 33% of India's GDP and employs nearly 62% of the population. After India's independence, one of the main challenges facing the country was that producing enough food for the increasing population, as only limited land is fit for cultivation. India has to strive to increase yields per unit area from the existing farmland. The development of several high yielding varieties of wheat and rice in the mid 1960s as a result of various plant breeding techniques led to a dramatic increase in food production in our country. This phase is often referred to as the Green Revolution, represents some Indian hybrid crops of high yielding varieties. Father of Green Revolution in India is M.S. Swaminathan. In the world is Norman E. Borlaug. These are some Indian hybrid crops. The maize, which has twice the amount of amino acids, lysine and tryptophan. This is wheat, Atlas Sonalika and Kalyan Sona, and garden peas, IP 1542. Wheat and rice. During the period 1960 to 2000, wheat production increased from 11 million to 11 million tons to 75 million tons, while rice production went up from 35 million to 89.5 million tons. 39, 35 million tons to 89.5 million tons. This was due to the development of semi-dwarf varieties of wheat and rice. Nobel laureate Norman Borlaug at International Center for Wheat and Maize Improvement in Mexico developed semi-dwarf wheat. In 1963, several varieties such as Sonalika and Kalyan Sona, which were high yielding and disease resistant, were introduced all over the wheat growing belt of India. Semi dwarf varieties were derived from IR8 developed at International Rice Research Institute IRRI Philippines and Taching native one from Taiwan. The derivatives were introduced in 1966. Later, better yielding semi-dwarf varieties Jaya and Ratna were developed in India. Sugarcane. Saccharum barberi was originally originally grown in North India but had poor sugar content and yield. Tropical canes grown in South India, Saccharum officinarum, had thicker stems and higher sugar content but did not grow well in North India. These two species were successfully crossed to get sugarcane varieties combining the desirable qualities of high yield thick stems, high sugar, and ability to grow in the sugarcane areas of North India. Millets, hybrid maize, jowar, and bajra have been successfully developed in India. Hybrid breeding have led to the development of several high-yielding varieties resistant to water stress. Plant breeding for disease resistance. A wide range of fungal, bacterial, and viral pathogens affect the yield of cultivated crop species, especially in tropical climates. Crop losses can often be significant, up to 20 to 30%, or sometimes even total. In this situation, plant breeding and development of cultivars resistant to disease enhances food production. This also helps reduce the dependence on use of fungicides and bactericides. Resistance of the host plant is the ability to prevent the pathogen from causing disease and is determined by the genetic constitution of the host plant. Before breeding is undertaken, it is important to know about the causative organism and the mode of transmission. Some of the diseases caused by fungi are rust, example brown rust of wheat, red rot of sugarcane, and late blight of potato by bacteria, black rot of crucifers, and by viruses, tobacco mosaic, turnip mosaic, etc. Methods of breeding for disease resistant breeding is carried out by the conventional breeding techniques described earlier, or by mutation breeding. The conventional method of breeding for disease resistance is that hybridization and selection. Its steps are essentially identical to those for breeding for any other agronomic characters such as high yield. The various sequential steps are screening germplasm for resistant sources, hybridization of selected parents, selection and evaluation of the hybrids, and testing and release of new varieties. Crop variety resistant to disease. Wheat, a variety named Himagiri, resistance to diseases like leaf and stripe rust and hillbite. Brassica, a variety Pusa swernim known as Karanrai, is resistant to a disease known as white rust. Cauliflower varieties like Pusa subra and Pusa snowball K1 are resistant to diseases like black rot and curl blight black rot. Cowpea, variety named Pusa komal, is resistant to a disease called bacterial blight. Chili, a variety named Pusa sada bahar, is resistant to chili mosaic virus, tobacco mosaic virus, and leaf curl. Some crop varieties breed by hybridization and selection for disease resistance to fungi, bacteria, and viral disease are really is conventional breeding is often constrained by the availability of limited number of disease resistant genes that are present and identified in various crop varieties of wild relatives. Inducing mutation in plants through the disease means that then screening of plant materials for resistance sometimes led to desirable genes being identified. Plants having these desirable characters can then be either multiplied directly or can be used in breeding. Other breeding methods that are used are selection among us, somaclonal variants, and genetic engineering. Mutation is the process by which the genetic variations are created through changes in the base sequence with genes resulting in the creation of new character or trait not found in the parental type. It is possible to induce mutations artificially through the use of chemicals or radiations like gamma radiations and selecting and using the plants that have the desirable character as source and breeding. This process is called mutation breeding. In mung bean, resistance to yellow mosaic virus and powdery mildew were induced by mutations. Several wild relatives of different cultivated species of plants have been shown to have certain resistant characters but have very low yield. Hence, there is a need to introduce the resistant genes into the high yielding cultivated varieties. Resistance to yellow mosaic virus in Bindi, Abelmuscus esculentus, was transferred from a wild species and resulted in a new variety of Abelmuscus esculentus called Parbani Kranti. Parbani Kranti. All the above examples involve sources of resistant genes that are in the same crop species, which has to be bred for disease resistance or in a related wild species. Transfer of resistant genes is achieved by sexual hybridization between the target and the source plant, followed by selection. Plant breeding for developing resistance to insect pests. Another major cause for large scale destruction of crop plant and crop produce is insect and pest infestation. Insect resistance in host crop plants may be due to morphological, biochemical, or physiological characteristics. Hairy leaves in several plants are associated with resistance to insect pests. Example: resistance to jacids in cotton and sorrel leaf beetle in wheat. In wheat, solid stems led to non-preference by the stems of like smooth leafwood and nectarless cotton varieties do not attract bollworms. High aspartic acid, low nitrogen and sugar content in maize leads to resistance to maize stem borers. Breeding methods for insect pest resistant involve the same steps as those for any other agronomic traits such as yield or quality and are discussed earlier as earlier sources of resistance genes may be cultivated varieties, some released crop varieties bred by hybridization and selection. Crop Brassica, rapeseed or mustard, variety named Pusa garo, is resistant to insect pests like aphids. Crop flat bean is varieties like Pusa sem2 and Pusa sem3 are resistant to insect pests like jacids, aphids, and fruit borers. Okra bindi, varieties named Pusa savani and Pusa a4 are resistant to insect pests like shoot and fruit borer. Plant breeding for improved food quality. More than 840 million people in the world do not have adequate food and meet their daily food and nutritional requirements. A far greater number, 3 billion people, suffer from micronutrient, protein, and vitamin deficiencies or hidden hunger because they cannot afford to buy enough fruits, vegetables, legumes, fish, and meat. Diets lacking essential micronutrients, particularly iron, vitamin A, iodine, zinc, increase the risk for disease and reduce lifespan and reduce mental abilities. Biofortification. Breeding breeding crops with higher levels of vitamins and minerals or higher protein and healthier fats is the most practical means to improve public health. Breeding for improved nutritional qualities undertaken with the objectives for improving protein content and quality, oil content and quality, vitamin content, micronutrient and mineral content. In 2000, maize hybrids that had twice the amount of amino acids like lysine and tryptophan compared to existing maize hybrids were developed. Wheat variety like Atlas 66 having a high protein content has been used as a donor for improving cultiv- cultivated wheat. Normally, wheat will have only carbohydrate content in more in higher levels, but no protein content. But in this variety named Atlas 66, the protein content is high. So it is used as a donor for other wheat varieties grown in the wheat growing belts of India. It has been possible to develop an iron fortified rice variety containing over over 5 times as much iron as in commonly consumed varieties. In India, the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, was real, released several vegetable crops that are rich in vitamins and minerals. Example: vitamin A enriched carrot, spinach, pumpkin. Vitamin C enriched bitter gourd, batua, mustard, tomato. Iron and calcium enriched spinach and batua. Protein enriched beans, broad bean, lab, French bean, and garden peas. Single cell proteins (SCP). The conventional and agricultural production of cereals, pulses, vegetables, fruits, etc. may not be able to meet the demand of food the rate at which the human and animal population is increasing. The shift from grain to meat diets also creates more demand for cereals as it takes 3 to 10 kgs of grain to produce 1 kg of meat by animal farming. One of the alternative sources of proteins for animal and human nutrition is single cell protein SCP. Microbes are being grown on an industrial scale as source of food protein. Blue-green algae like spirulina can be grown easily on materials like wastewater from potato processing plants containing starch, straw, molasses, animal manure, and even sewage to produce large quantities and can serve as food rich in protein, minerals, fats, carbohydrate, and vitamins. Incidentally, such utilization also reduces environmental pollution. Certain bacterial species like Methylophilus methylotrophus, because of its high rate of biomass production and growth, can be expected to produce 25 tons of protein. The fact that edible mushrooms are eaten by many people and large scale mushroom culture is growing industry makes it believable that microscopic fungi too would become acceptable as food. Tissue culture. As traditional breeding techniques fail to keep pace with demand and to provide sufficiently fast and efficient systems for crop improvement, another technology called tissue culture got developed. It was learned by scientists during 1950s that whose plants could be regenerated from explants, that is, any part of the plant taken out and grown in a test tube. Under sterile conditions in special nutrient media, this capacity to generate a whole plant from any cell or explant is called totipotency. We will learn how to accomplish this in higher classes. It is important to stress here that the nutrient medium must provide a carbon source such as sucrose and also organic salts, vitamins, amino acids, and growth regulators like auxins, cytokinins, etc. By application of these methods, it is possible to achieve propagation of a large number of plants in a very short duration. This method of producing thousands of plants through tissue culture is called micropropagation. Each of these plants will be genetically identical to the original plants from which they were grown, that is, they are somaclones. Mainly important food plants like tomato, banana, apple, etc., have been produced on commercial scale using this method. Another important application of the method is the recovery of healthy plants from diseased plants, even if the plant is infected with a virus. The meristem, apical, and axillary is free of virus. Hence, one can remove the meristem and grow it in vitro to obtain virus-free plants. Scientists have succeeded in culturing meristems of banana, sugarcane, potato, etc. Scientists have even isolated single cells from plants, and after digesting their cell walls, have been able to isolate naked protoplasts surrounded by plasma membranes. Isolated protoplasts from two different varieties of plants, each having a desirable character, can be fused to get hybrid protoplasts, which can be further grown to form a new plant. These hybrids are called somatic hybrids, while the process is called somatic hybridization. Imagine a situation when a protoplast of tomato is fused with that of potato, and then they are grown to form a new hybrid plants combining tomato and potato characteristics. Well, this has been achieved, resulting in the formation of pomato. Unfortunately, this plant did not have all the desired combinations of characteristics for its commercial utilization. That's our chapter. You can mail me through wikisneetprep@gmail.com, or you can ping me through Instagram ID wikisneetprep. This is my ID wikisneetprep. You can find my profile by scanning this code. Our previous videos In our previous videos, I had discussed about digestion and absorption, locomotion and movement, bio- biotechnology, principles and process, biotechnology and its applications, neural control and coordination. These all links are provided in the description, as well as the mail ID and the Instagram link also provided in the description. You can follow me. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Wikis Need Prep.